What's up, guys? So today I'm going to teach you guys how to make the Civic SI trans from 2006 to 2011 fit into your RSX. So here's my old RSX tranny. As you guys see, it has a vehicle speed sensor on it, and the Civic SI doesn't. So if you guys want LSD and don't really want to install just LSD itself, it's cheaper. In my opinion, it's a little bit cheaper. Just get a Civic SI trans and then just modify it to fit. So that's what I'll be doing today, showing you guys how to modify it so you could be able to run this transmission in your RSX. It's a real easy process. I think it's cheaper. So I'll be teaching you guys how to do that today. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna remove these 3 ball springs using a 12mm socket. Now what these do, they just keep the transmission in gear after you shift it. So when you remove these, be careful because the spring might pop out with the little ball that it has. You want to make sure you keep those, you don't lose those, because those are very important. So just a 12mm socket, pop them out. As you see, has a spring, and then there's a little ball in there that once I tilt the transmission, it should pop right out. But here's a spring and a freaking screw. Keep those. Here's the other spring. Make sure you keep the washers too. Don't want to lose them. I'm gonna keep the spring with its proper screw. That way, I don't think it matters, but I'm just keep it there. So make sure you keep them all with wherever they come out. See, washer, spring, and then the balls in there. Once I tilt the transmission, it'll be coming out. Alright, so I went ahead and got a little magnet just to keep the balls, but I don't want them rolling off. So I'm gonna just use a magnetic tip screwdriver, just get them out. See, there's 1 ball, throw it in there. 2, 3, there it is. All right, so next you're gonna be removing the interlock bolt using a 7mm Allen wrench, which is this one right here. I already went ahead and loosened it, so that. And also you're gonna have to unbolt and remove the shift lever assembly and the 2 dowel pins that line it up with the transmission. So basically you're gonna be removing this and this whole system right here. So it should be bolts. I'll show you guys how to do it, but all right, here we go. So this is out. There we go. So to remove this part, it's only 4 bolts, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe these are 10 mils. Get my 10 mil. It's 1, 2, 4. Then you're gonna want to wiggle it back and forth just to move, take it out. Let's see. There it is. Don't know what that is. Okay, there we go. This whole assembly should come out nice and easy. And I gotta wiggle it. And there it is. This is how you remove that. Just 4 volts. And then the interlock bolt. That's it. Just wiggle it. I used the flathead to get it out. So let's keep going. Alright, next you want to remove this bolt using a 14mm socket. And then you want to go ahead and remove the drain or fill. I don't know which one it is, but you remove this one right here, and that is a 3/8 socket wrench or 17mm socket. So yes, 14mm. Make sure you keep the washer that it has. the washer. Don't lose it. All right, so now once you did all that, all you want to do now is remove every single bolt alongside the tranny casing, which is a 12 millimeter. So just go along, try to do it evenly. Loosen up every single bolt alongside the tranny casing. You next want to move up to the ceiling cap, which is a 14 millimeter Allen. I'm gonna use a socket Allen, 14 millimeter. Hopefully it's not too tight. There it is. There it is. Get this cap off. If you look inside, there's a little like clamp ring sort of. All you have to do is get your pliers, and you want to expand it and then just move it away from the groove that it sits on. It's not gonna come off like out the tranny. All you have to do is get it out the groove, and that will allow you to remove the tranny case. So okay. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to get yourself these. You want to expand this clamp right here, and as you expand it, you want to use a pry bar and pry on the casing. What that's gonna do is gonna push the, I don't know if you guys can tell, it sits on that groove, but it's no longer in that groove because you want to expand it and pry the casing up, and that will remove it off the groove, and that's what you need to remove the case. So let's see if it pops out. Side transmission, you have this sensor here. I haven't removed it, and if you guys can see, it's hitting one of the gears right there. So you have to remove it. Just a 10 millimeter, and let's see. I don't even know what the sensor is for. See what's hitting. I don't even know what it's for, but case off. What you want to do is you're gonna have to remove the gears and then the whole diff, so you can install the speedo ring. This is what you need to order from Honda, which is this part number right here. And then this is for your vehicle speed sensor, in order for it to read on your O2 to RSX, whatever. So you need to remove these and take this off so you could put this on underneath. So in order to remove all this, I've never done this, but when I lifted up the case, this whole shit popped off. So I kind of like put it back together, and then I realized I have to remove this. So now I have to take it back off. So you want to take out these two 10 millimeter screws right here. You want to remove this little bracket. You want to take this off. So you have to be really careful with all this stuff, because all this shit is delicate. So just lay it there. And then this just comes off by lifting it up. And you want to be careful not to lose anything at all. You want to keep all of this together. Keep this all together. Okay. Don't want to lose this. I believe this just comes straight out. Yep, comes right out. So you guys see this groove right here, right past the, what's this called, the bearing? That is where you want to put this. It doesn't matter which way you put it, doesn't matter at all. Now it is going to be a slight press, so you do want to use a flathead and a hammer. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Put this towel here. this here. And then you wanna slide this over the bearing. So you get a hammer. Here it is. See if I can press this in. I suggest using a rubber mallet, but I don't have one, so just trying to do it all even. See, it's flush now, but it is a tight press. Just take your time with it. Don't hammer it really hard. Make sure you go nice and even all around so you don't get stuck. I think I'm at a point where I have to use a flathead now. Turn it. Let me just take a look. Yeah, I still got a long way to go. You know, it's gonna take a while. Just take your time because you do not want to break any of this stuff. It's better take it slow, double check all your work. Don't be scared to do it. Just open up your trans and whatever you take apart, just make sure you look to see how it goes back, or just Google search. But you see, nice and slow it's going in. Make sure you spin it. You know, you want to give it like 1 or 2 taps. You don't want to go super heavy. You might just make sure you go all around evenly. See, the bearing isn't moving no more, which means I'm real close to where it's supposed to sit. Just hammer it there, hammer it here, here, back over here, there, there, there. See, bearing spinning again, which means I'm past the bearing. Now I have to put it where it belongs. There. A little bit over here. See? Over here. Now let me take a look. See if it's nice and flush. See? Man, I don't know if you guys can see, but it is sitting nice and flush right along right there. So if I spin it. See that? Nice and flush. And bearing is free. That's basically the hardest part. Now all I have to do is put it back in, put this back in. Oh man. Oh no. Wait. Before you put all this stuff back in, you have to drill this casing right here. Because you have to drill right here, this plug, because that is where your VSS sensor, and that is what's gonna be reading this ring right here. So here's the stock RSX training. This is where the VSS sensor will go. So that's like the size of the hole we have to bore out. So here I have a 1-inch drill bit. Now I read online that it's a 1-inch and a 16th, and I believe it because this goes in real like loose. But I'll drill it in with a 1-inch, and then I'll kind of like bore it out just to kind of make my sensor fit snug on the Civic trans. So here's where I have to bore, make 1 inch. So let's see how it goes. All right, so here's a 1-inch bit. Don't want to go too much. there it is. After boring it for just a couple of seconds, I managed to get it in there. It's I got it a little loose, but it'll still work just fine. Now all you have to do is drill this hole and tap it so you can fit a 10 mil. So I'll do that later. But bam, there it is. And then it's free in here, spin it. There it is. So now that you drilled and you got your sensor in, what you want to do now is make sure you clean out all this metal shaving before you put any of this stuff back. So I'm gonna clean this out and then start putting all my gears and diff back in, because I had to wait for this new bearer to come in, because when I remove my casing, all of the balls that are in there just pop right out. So it took a couple days to get a new bearing. I got it in. I didn't show how to put this in, but the diff should slide in easy, no problem. Just make sure you put transmission fluid on the bearing before you put it in. You want to make sure everything goes in nice and smoothly. And then after this, you want to put both of these together before you even try putting it in. If you try to put one first and then the other one, it's not gonna work. You're gonna mess up your gears or something. So just want to make sure you have them all together, like how I removed them all both together. Want to make sure you have all your forks on there as well, and you basically just slide it right in. Just make sure you have your two washers that sit right in there. Don't mix them up. They go a certain way. So I don't know which way they go because I didn't mix them up. So I made sure of that. And then you want to make sure you put your reverse gear in and your 2 bolts. So I got that down so far. Everything's pretty focused. Everything's in there now. Right now it's in neutral, so it shifts. I'm gonna try my best to record because I don't have my little brother record with me. So I mean, what I'm gonna do right now is put the casing back on. And before you put the case on, you want to make sure this little threads right here are facing like towards your VIN, because that is where one bolt goes, and that's what holds the, basically secures this pin. So you want to make sure it's facing this way towards the VIN number. And so yeah, I'm gonna put the case on. So I'll show that right now. So now that it's on there, you want to get a hammer. Rubber mallet hammer would be better. That's all I have, so that's all I'm gonna use. You want to tap around the casing and spread this clamp open so it could go into the groove. So I'm not gonna show it because I don't have a camera stand, but that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So nice and flush now. All I did was pry this clip open and tap all around evenly. So you guys see it's still not sitting on the groove. So all I have to do is just push it in. So yeah, let's see. Now you want to make sure that the threads that I told you guys about in there are even with the hole. If it's not, just use a little flathead, align it. That's what I did. Mine's nice and straight now. Just make sure that before you put the casing, the hole is facing towards your VIN number, and you'll be good. Just a little align it. So now I'm gonna put all these bolts back in, and before you even put the case, I forgot to tell you guys, make sure to put some Honda bond. The reason I didn't put any is because I'm gonna open it back up because I'm putting Downstar hardware. So I'm waiting on those to come in, and then I'm gonna take it off and put Honda bond in securely, nice and tight with all new hardware. So I'm not gonna use the OEM, I'm gonna use the Downstar kit. And so I put my transmission all back together. It's all torqued. I'll leave in the description like a link to, or like it shows you how to remove it, and then it also gives you all the torques for every single bolts that we removed. So the one thing I forgot to say is this is your SI transmission. You're gonna need your RSX tranny like shifter mechanism, because the Civic is, if you try to use the Civic, it shifts backwards. I don't know how to explain it, but you have to get the RSX from 02 to 04, and you have to use this. So luckily for me, I have my stock RSX transmission. I took out the shifter mechanism and the vehicle speed sensor. That's all you need for that transmission. And I believe you're also gonna need the bracket that holds your cable, your shifting cables. So because you use the RSX shifting mechanism, there's only gonna be 2 bolts that align, and it's gonna be these 2 front ones. You have this one that lines up and this one that lines up. Both of these back here like this one, and this one will not line up to the RSX transmission. So I rather you could just run these 2 bolts and you'll be fine, or you could drill and tap this hole right here, which is what I'm going to do eventually. But like, let's say you can just use your RSX transmission case, just swap it right over, and you don't have to drill anything. Everything will line up nice and perfect. No need for drilling anything. So if I wanted to, I could separate this transmission, use this casing on this transmission, and I could literally have everything bolted up as it goes instead of me drilling and tapping. But I'm planning on selling this transmission here, so that's why I'm not touching that. I'm just taking the shifter mechanism and the vehicle speed sensor. But other than that, it's all basically done. So you have to drill and tap this hole right here, and then for your shifting cables bracket, only 3 holes are gonna line up because this one's obviously in the way. But I mean, it's there, it's done. Shifts every gear, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. It's gonna reverse. I mean, it's all there. So I mean, just take your time when you do it. The hardest part is, like, obviously taking all the gears and everything. Like, I was scared because everything like fell off as soon as I pulled the casing. Like, everything fell off, the gears, everything. So, you know, this is my first time separating transmission, first time messing with the gears. But once you kind of like look up online, like, it's really easy. Just make sure you remove both the main, I don't know what you call it, like the main shaft gears and the counter shaft gears. Make sure you remove those as one piece, both together. You don't want to remove one piece and then the other one, because that's how you end up, you know, scratching the gears or damaging them. So remove them together and you put them back in together. The diff comes right off. There's no need for like hammering or prying on it. You just literally just wiggle it and it should slide right off. And then just put your speedo ring on there. You know, I showed you guys. And then when you put everything back together, you want to make sure you lube it nice with transmission fluid. Just lube up the shafts, the bearings. You don't want to have any problems with it. So just lube it all, put it all back one piece, and that's pretty much it. I mean, now I just have to clean it up, clean this up and paint it. But I mean, that's how you go from a no LSD to LSD. That's how you swap a Civic transmission into an RSX. So there it is. If you guys have any questions, I'll just leave it in the comments. I'll make sure I reply to all you guys' comments.